Hi everybody, it's Diane here, which you probably shouldn't be because my neighbors are pounding and sawing and have music going outside, and I don't know what I'm doing with this anyway. But here I am, because I have filming time. So this is an image I've had for a long time, and I wanted to work it into the Big Altar book somehow, someday, and I guess this is the day, because I came across this recently in a different magazine. Okay, I don't know if that's the arrangement. I don't know. I have no idea what else. I grabbed a pink scrapbook paper just to get an idea of, pink is definitely fine. I don't think it's too much. And actually, this looks kind of pretty, but it doesn't really match. I mean, the theme, the colors match. The little flowers, I don't think match so well. So let's look through a magazine or two or 10 and see if something doesn't crop up while we listen to hammering and sawing and stuff like that. You could go weird, do funky. All right, I don't know about this. And most people are saying, is she crazy? Yeah, she shouldn't be here. What about blocks of different colors? I'm sure everybody knows those are spoonbills, right? And actually this was identified. I don't know if that's the same. The bill is different. I don't know. I'm not a spoonbill expert by any means. That's pretty. That kind of blows the color blocks theory. Let's see. Although I suppose we could still do that in some way. That's pretty cool. I would never in a million years do a background like that if I was doing a painting, but it looks neat. That's why your paintings aren't magazines, Diane. The page I'm going to put it on in the book, I already selected that, does have stuff on it. So if I want a white background, I'm going to have to paint or put paper down or something. Well, I sort of thought it'd be funny to put spoons on, if you look through a food magazine or something, but I admit it, that's a little silly. I don't think I've ever seen a spoonbill. Well, I know I've never seen one in the wild. Obviously, they don't exist where I live. But I don't think I've ever seen one in a zoo or anything. They're pretty interesting. All right, where are these color blocks? I'm not finding. Oh, there they are, but they have people standing in front of them. They didn't ask me. Where's that collage magazine I keep hinting at somebody to make that's going to have solid colors like in the back for you to cut up? I'm still waiting. Nah, I think that's too mottled. No, there's a solid color. I don't like it. Purple. I don't know. You could always just paint on a paper, a separate paper and cut it out. I suppose you could use construction paper maybe. That's not bad. I don't think it's great either, but no, no. Black, no. What was that? Orange, huh? That would match that too well and blend in. What about a little bit of it? Maybe just like a square up there. I know these are all crooked and everything. I'll have to straighten that up. Is it great? No. It looks kind of dark up there. Hey, you guys see that? Yeah. I have to stand on my tippy toes to look at the phone picture. It's my big workout for the day. This is brighter. That's better. Well, you would think this would have some sort of good color. Whether it's solid or not is going to be another question. Here's more orange. You know what, this is a little snippety thing. I'll take it just in case. I'll do something like that maybe. Well, who knew spoonbills could be kind of mod with color, huh? Colorful. And those letters match. I don't know if I really want that as a word, but we'll mark it. Actually, I have a bedspread. It's not on my bed at this moment, but it's almost exactly like that. I'm so hip. That was my old bedroom colors, so I use it more for like a blanket thing because it doesn't match the room now. It'd be cool to sit down to Thanksgiving dinner or something like that, just to be different. That's cool. That would be fun. Diane's Renegade Thanksgiving dinner. All right, well, what's going on here with these? We'll look through this one really quick, and then I'll pause. I'll try to find, that could use like a yellow, don't you think? And then we'll just pick it up from there. Hello, yellow. Pink. That's better than this purple. This is called exuberant pink. It's more purple. I hate to tell them that. Oh, maybe we could use it in a circular manner. If not, I'll square it off. Okay. Yeah, I think that color is better. Oh, purple. We don't want purple. At least Diane does not. Well, I could put orange down there. I kind of wanted yellow. Let's try a little bit and see. all right, but it makes this look a little out because it's orange, you know, out of place. What do you mean out? Right, you know what we need? More of that over here. Was that the first magazine? Was it this one? All right, I'm not going to make you guys look with me. I will try to find that lime green color again and then put a little bit in the bottom right and we'll pick it up from there. Hang on. There it is. You know, seriously, if you ever thought about it, if you have the means to make a video of yourself working just for yourself, and then in a case like this, you could go back and look at it and see what magazine you were using. Okay, now I'm pausing. Hang on. Okay, it's glued down with the exception of the flowers. There's white paper behind. Okay. Question 1. Should I even cut off these taller tulips so it's not into that? But then again, it's just a reflection. It could help pull it together a little bit with them there. Personally, I think I like them without, so think about that. I didn't add the orange yet because I don't think it's that necessary over there. I'm not sure. It could even be here. However, back to that first paper I had pulled out. You know, we have to do something. This is not completed. What about a border of it down, at least down here? Maybe somewhere up here? Well, let's try. Let's take 2 strips. So it's a little wider. That's nice. I don't have a word yet either. Is that a consideration? I think that would help. Okay, that's pretty good. Do we want a piece of it up here? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just cut this strip all the way off. I don't use it here. I can use it somewhere else. We are coming down to the wire in this book. There's about 4 or so pages left. Hurrah. All right, that's fine. No. Okay. It sort of looks like it needs something here. Like it's sort of like, you know, 2 things and there's nothing here. Just as an example. Maybe a word could go there. Grab a magazine. I have no idea what sort of word I want. A natural element. No. Nice try. Fit for a chef. No way. You know, unique isn't bad. I just saw that in, yeah. Oh, shoot, I don't know what magazine that was. It was a former video or so. In a magazine, I mean. I know it was not this magazine. Then why are you looking? Because I thought there might be something else, and I don't know what magazine it was. Timeless Elegance. All right, I'm gonna have to pause. Let's see if I can't find that word. Well, here, let's just pretend we have a word here. I don't know that that's enough, though. It might be. I might splash around some flowers or something. I didn't trim this yet either. Do that, Diane. Okay, look for that word. Maybe a border, maybe a splashy flower, something here and there. This could use a flower or something over it. It's not too bad, really. It could be left as is. But something covering that might be nice too. Okay, come back. I think it'll be done. Hang on. Okay, folks, it's done. That, remainder of that scrapbook paper was sitting here, and so I thought about those flowers, and I'm thinking, no, they're too small. But I think it's fine, because it sort of cascades down. I added this black line because this is the only thing that's black on here, really. I mean, there's a little bit, but I think that helps. I added the orange. I did cut those couple tulips off, and then I reattached them, one there and one here. Which, believe it or not, that does help, because it was a little short on this side. Okay, if you want to be really clever, it did cross my mind to draw like a reflection, because this is supposed to be water here. But it's a little tight, it's not water here, so I didn't press my luck. And I didn't want to screw it up. But, you could try that. Go ahead. Okay, everybody, one more page. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day.